and hopefully buy the product, but I refused because I was like, we live in Vancouver, BC, and the water is amazing here. And but eventually I did do my research, and I was so surprised. I was like, holy crap, like I do not drink water, but this product is amazing. And so I messaged my brother's friend who was selling the product offline. And luckily he took a few days to respond, because that's where I found Mike and Darren's ad. And what had caught my eye was that they were local. They were two guys in a really nice penthouse. And I've always wanted gay best friends. And you know what? I'm blessed with so many more. And that's actually what caught my eye, and that's how I started. And so when I saw the opportunity that it was the Kangen water, it was like a win-win situation for me, because I was like, oh, I'm just paying $99 for an amazing system, and you know the products were a bonus for us. So that's how I started. And I also started with a K8 trifecta, just because I knew that if I was going to be spending this much money on these products, that I might as well buy like the best one and try all three of them. Yeah. And so before that, during that time, I just came out of a networking company that I invested 2 years with. A lot of time spent, a lot of money spent, and a lot of bridges got burnt, and I really lost my credibility with like everyone that I promoted that product with. I was still working at my family nail salon business. It's on and off for over a decade that I really wanted to get out of. And I also ventured into spamming, kind of like Darren, but Darren was way better. So I ventured into spamming, where I invested over a year of my time with an old friend, which I ended up losing over $10,000 of money, and yeah, again, my time. So when I had the coaching call with Mike, I wasn't really in a good place, but Mike truly got me to believe in myself again and gave me that hope of spark. And Mike didn't know that, but I was like holding back my tears when I was on the phone with Mike. And yeah, so that's how it all started. So starting with the journey, I took a very long time just because I was still super skeptical. I wanted to wait for other people's results, and I'm just kind of like a procrastinator anyways, right? And so my first ad, I believe, came out in November sometime, and I created at least 3 ads. I remember 2 story ads and 1 video ad that I worked so hard on. I used all my traveling videos, all the cool things that I did, and I thought for sure this is going to be the ad that wins. And sure enough, I didn't really get anything. So I waited until after the new year, until the end of January. I thought to myself, what had caught my eye in the first place? So it was Mike and Darren, 2 real guys just in a video talking about themselves, and that's what I created. A video just like me sitting in a room talking about how I wanted to quit the family business, work in a coffee shop and give back to my immigrant parents. And, sure enough, it became my winning ad, only because I remember these words so distinctively. And Mike said, Janet, the world does not revolve around you. Get over it. Because I was so deathly afraid of, showing my face to Vancouver, just because I already lost credibility in my old businesses, that I didn't want them to be like, oh, okay, Janet's doing another thing now. So once I got over that hump, that ad became my winning ad. And so that was my winning ad, and actually kind of my only winning ad. And I remember in March, while I was in Bali, that was when I had my first real buyer. And I thought that was so cool, because anyone who's in the esthetician world knows that you don't make money unless you work, right? You don't make money when you're on vacation. So yeah, that was just super cool. And starting from there, so that was my 2A to 3A journey. So at 2A to 3A, I still kind of surfed the business. I was surfing by. I attended mastermind meetings, and sometimes I didn't. I saw other people's results, but I still didn't see it for myself. And I really didn't really know what I was doing yet. Even though I had a winning ad, I actually was still scared to reply to comments. When people would message me, I would kind of take my time, because I was afraid. I'm like, how could I coach these people if I can't coach myself? Yeah, and so that was my 2A to 3A journey. And then 3A to 4A journey, that's when Chicago, Amy, and Rachel came into my life. And I was like, holy crap, these people are so powerful, and they believed in me. And I knew from that moment that I couldn't give up on them, right? Because they saw something in me, and I was just so honored. And it's really funny, because me, Chicago, and Amy joke about it now. They're like, you took forever to reply to the messages, and we got so annoyed of you that we just bought in. So, and look at us now, we're like best friends who like hang out all the time. And so what I created during 3A and 4A is a lot of meetings. So we met up a lot at coffee shops, we hung out at Chicago's, like we just did a lot of, because I feel like human connection is very important. And you know, when we work in an online business, it can get lonely and it's hard to have time management unless, especially when all of us still have like a full-time job trying to juggle the both. So I felt like meeting up each other all the time did make a huge difference because we kind of created the solid foundation for our whole team. And 4A to 5A, I felt like that went by fairly quickly. That's when I decided to quit the family nail salon business because I started to make consistent income, which covered my current income. And the funny thing is though, even though I stacked and I was making 5 figures, I still had doubt in myself. Like I had these checks stacked up in the corner of my room and I wouldn't deposit them because I thought it was too good to be true. I was like waking up, sleeping in, and making more money than I ever had in this business versus like, you know, working with my hands. So that was like the moment where, you know, I had to remind myself that I chose to do a business where I could have more freedom and to give back to my family, right? Or I could choose to go back to my old way of being and get into my doubt and fears and end up where I always have ended up. So at that moment, I did a lot of, you know, self-help. I worked on myself, read a lot of books, and just kind of, you know, I kept getting out of that state of mind. And then 5A to 6A. So my ad account, all my business managers, they all got shut down. I actually didn't have a real winning ad. So from getting to 5A to 6A, I had no ad. It was team effort. And that's why I was hesitant to share during my 6A mastermind, was because I thought I didn't have any technical value to add. So I was just like, what am I going to say? But I felt like, yeah, so that's why, but still, I still made it to 6A without an ad, but you know, I did get buyers through my old funnel. The system was always working. So I still got buyers, but just without the ad. And, you know, and I think my strategy was that I knew from the get-go that I wanted to hit 6A2-3. So I looked at what was best for myself and the team and how we could get there the fastest. So from the beginning, I've always built my whole team where I hope no one was left behind. So I knew that it would be less money in the beginning and more money later. So I've kind of built it that way. And I felt like that made a huge difference because it got me to 6A2 really quickly. Again, without really a winning ad, because I'm using needles and whatnot, but I haven't had like that good ad like I did back my original 4th ad. And so, yeah, so that was kind of like my strategy. And some things that I want to share is some do's and don'ts that I did do with the business is, you know, of course, like everyone in the beginning, when you first start out, you stalk all the successful people and you see what they're doing. Of course, you stay plugged in. Originally, I did attended masterminds until I didn't attend masterminds. So that's what I did and I didn't do. I never put anything in my calendar. I didn't prioritize. I kind of looked at the business as, you know, a second thing I'll do on my own time. So, you know, that also slowed me down. A mistake that I didn't do was blow up my winning ad. I remember spending no more than $15 to $20 per day. And then I remember it being kind of high and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lower it back to like $10 or something silly when, you know, I should have blew it up. So I didn't really spend that much money on my ads. And my cost per lead, you know, went from 25 cents to $25 per lead. And I didn't care. Like I literally set it and forget it because as long as I got leads with it, I was happy with it. And, you know, even though I'm not sure if that's a good way to present it, but that ad, doing it that way for the whole year and something got me to 5A. And whenever I made my first $1,000, I would only put aside $300 because during that time, Mike's like, oh yeah, $10 per day, you know, $10 per day. So and then I spent $700 on eating good food, like who knows? So I knew that also slowed me down. And I never got upset over a buyer that wasn't mine. That was just, I truly believe that when you give, you get back, you know, 10 folds. So, and also I believe that scarcity mindset creates, you know, scarcity results, right? And, you know, I never checked my leads. I never checked if it belonged to anybody because I felt like anyone that talks to you, it's good practice just so you can be more confident about talking about your business. So it's just good practice, guys. And, you know, I never stressed about when I got leads and they didn't convert into buyers because you have to understand that it takes time. And and that it takes time, and that you have to reevaluate. That's a moment where you have to go back, look at your page. Like, am I connecting to the audience? Would I want to work with myself? And do I look like a robot? Because I noticed that a lot of people post like pictures and quotes and one word answers or one word like sayings, which is fine, but as long as you have some other meaningful things that connect to it, right? Because people just really want to know who you are. And if you're just posting because that's your job, then it's not really, you're not connecting, and they're not going to convert. And when I saw, there was a lot of times where, because when I explained my journey, only because even though I was succeeding, I still had a lot of self-doubt. And I always ask myself, like, if these guys can do it, why can't I? Like, what makes me different or what makes me less? And it's not even that. It has nothing to do with that, because we are proof that the system works, right? And it's not a matter of if it does, it's a matter of when. And I truly, truly understand that, like, now. But I do understand that. And, and I always tell everyone, if you're doing the business for just to try it out for a few months, like, don't bother. This is kind of like a retirement plan. This is for the long haul. Like, you have to see this as a restaurant where you open up and, you advertise and you wait for word of mouth and you wait for people to come in. This is like a restaurant, guys. So you just got to make it look good. You got to make it taste good, and people will come in. And some of my accomplished, I wanted to show you. It's my old vision board that I did when I first started this business, and I kind of kept it. Sorry. This was my vision board back when I first started. And, what I really wanted to share was I've always wanted to live downtown. I do live downtown with a beach view now. And, I got to decorate with my gold accent furniture. I've always wanted a dog when I would work full time at home. So I got the love of my life, Basil, for those who've met her. And, a lot of traveling. I've done a lot of traveling. But the most important thing is this. So, I know when everyone starts the business, they get so gung-ho about hitting 6A and doing it really fast and, watching other people. But I would hit 6A at, summer of 2017, July. And guess when I hit it, guys? I hit it in February 2019. So that was 2 years after what I said. But the point of that was to show that it doesn't matter if you don't hit what you said you were. You just have to keep going, because the secret is it's all about patience and it's all about persistence. And as long as you don't let that discourage you and you know where you're going to be at, that's all that matters. And really, that's what I wanted to share. That it's just a battle with yourself, and you really just have to get over that. And obviously, I want to thank Mike and Darren, who are like my guardian mentors, angel. Like, I was one of the lucky few who got to go to their house every week and hang out with them and work with them. Yet I still took a long time because it was just me at the end of the day. And my team Kumbaya, like none of us would be here. Like, I just love the fact that our team Kumbaya, all of us are there to help each other. It doesn't matter where we are or who we're from. It's just, we literally do hold hands. We hold hands around circles, and we meet a lot, and we drink a lot of wine, and we hang out more than I hang out with my real friends. So thank you. I would not be here without any of you. And thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
I think, you make a really important point, because quite often people get obsessed with just signing people up, and they that's all they focus on. But what you always did was you focused on the team aspect right from day one. I remember
you took good care of your people.
The first time we met, Janet just wanted to have a team, and she wanted to do business in a coffee shop. I'm surprised there's not a coffee shop on that vision board.
Yeah, your dream was to work in the coffee shops with your people, I remember.
Yeah.
In town.
And I also distinctly remember that the biggest motivation for you getting into business was your parents.
Yeah.
And I think something you didn't mention, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning it, but I remember, you might still have your commission checks sent to your parents so that they could see it was real.
I just recently changed it.
Did you?
Just for write-off purposes.
Good. See, now she's thinking. But and it's important. All of these little things are important. And what Janet, you've always been really good at is kind of not only laying the foundation for the team, but also doing those little things that kind of they kept you focused. You know, like the vision board is a prime example. Sending your checks to your parents, another prime example. Like all of these things, they add up because they remind you about what your priorities are and why you did this in the first place. You've always been great at that.
And you had a really close local team that met up often, so you all kept each other plugged into the business. And I think that's a big part of why they've all been really successful as well. I have a funny Janet story. So
this is like a wedding.
Yeah. So not everyone knows this, but Janet was actually one of our first buyers. She's kind of under she's the first person under Mike's stacked account. So
my first stacked account.
Yeah, the first stacked account. So in the 1A of Mike's Ocon, which was under my top account. And Janet was the first person to ask me. She wanted proof when she messaged me on my page. She said, "Okay, I saw your ad. You know, I want proof that this works. Can you send me checks or something?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mike, what do I do?" This girl was asking me for checks, and we had only had a few checks. The first few checks I took to the bank, so we didn't actually have those ones. And then
before you could deposit it with your phone.
Well, then we started depositing by phone because then I'm like, "Oh yeah, we should keep our checks." So we'd already, like, from up until about halfway through 2A or whatever, they were already gone. So I only had like 5 checks, I think, and I put them all out. And it was like $240, a $40 Ukon one, a $120. They weren't much. Like it maybe totaled $800 at the most. And I took a picture and I sent it to her, so she could see. And that was after she had already paid the $99 because obviously she knew what the product was and everything, and the check saying Magic on it. But yeah, so that she wanted the proof, and that's all I had, and that was enough for her to say, "Okay, it's real." It's not like it's thousands of dollars or anything, but it's you have checks. It's real. I'm in.
I wanted to match the name.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
Oh, I thought you wanted the proof that.
Well, also that you got paid, but I was like, okay, it's the same name.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
How do you think? How do you think that your perspective has changed through this journey? Because I know you've done so much work on yourself, and this was in some ways such a tipping point for you. I just, I often sometimes I look at you and I just kind of think back about where we started and how far you've come, because you're a pretty remarkable person at this stage in the game. And I know that took a lot of effort on your part. You've done a lot of self-work, a lot of inward focus. And why don't you kind of explain to people what that's meant for you and how it's impacted life?
Oh my goodness. It's impacted everything in my life in terms of like just impacting my friends, my family, everyone around me. Like they don't even know who I am anymore. They feel like I'm a whole transformed different person. And it's just the fact that I like believe in myself and knowing that I could say X and X will happen. Like I never had that ever before. When I met you, I thought this is it. If this doesn't work, it's done. I give up. I'm just going to work at the salon and do pedicures and touch feet for the rest of my life. Like that, I just didn't see that there was another way.
Awesome. Awesome. And I think, the fact that, you're honest, like it took 2 years longer than you expected to hit 6A. But the point is you did it.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't a race. You weren't trying to get to 6A faster than anybody else. It was all about Janet's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a huge success.
And you helped your team, which...
Team Kumbaya, that's a great name.
Yeah.
The only other name you could possibly call it is Drunk on Kool-Aid.
You paid it forward. and it's no secret, that Mike and I have done that for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole name of the game here. That's why this team is so successful. Mm-hmm. Because people pay it forward. And if you're not paying it forward and you're watching this, pay it forward, because you're only going to get bigger and bigger. Obviously, we can't support, I would love to give buyers to every single person, but you don't see my name every day in the buyers thing. So it's not like we can't support 8,000 people, but we've set that standard with the people that we were mentoring directly from the beginning, right? We helped.
And look at how we're rolled out. Janet hit 6A based on team performance, their buyers. Janet hit 6A2 based on their performance, their buyers. Guess who hit 6A 4-4? Had nothing to do with our buyers, actually.
No.
That's the remarkable thing about this business.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that you are working with your team and working with your people and making sure that they've got everything they need in order to succeed. It's a people business. It really is. And that's really what's the best part about the thing. It's that community aspect.
Yeah, we made all lifelong friends. Like I can't even look back to what my life was before.
Right?
Yeah.
How many gay friends do you think you got now?
At least 5.
GPF, gay best friend.
I literally got
or maybe you do. I don't want to know. Awesome. Anything else you want to wrap up with, Janet?
No, that's it. Well, I forgot to add that the whole check thing with my parents. Like now, my parents come up. They're still getting the checks, but it's gonna change soon. But they're like, "You made this much. You made this much." Now it's like you only made this much. So it's like a battle with them. Like it's funny because before it's like, "Oh yay, $500." Now it's like it's only $5,000. I'm like, "Mom, I used to touch feet for $30." They're like, "Oh yeah, okay."
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Thank you, Janet. Thank you for your time tonight.
You're welcome.
All right. So onwards and upwards, guys. We are going to talk about targeting. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You know how this works. We're going to have a little bit of a lull while I share this screen. So just bear with me here. Oh dear. Janet, do you see anything on your side now?
Yep.
Oh, you do? Okay, that's bizarre. I see absolutely nothing on my screen, but we're gonna run with it. Okay. So guys, tonight, targeting. Targeting is a very big, broad concept. So I'm gonna start with this. Targeting, at the root of it, is clarity.
I'm just saying, do people still see Janet, or do you see Mike's screen, you guys?
We only see Janet both. Mike's screen.
Well, I need to know who's on the big
Who's on
screen.
the big screen?
Who's on the big screen, not both. If you
do, you see the slides on the big screen?
Yeah.
Janet, what do you see?
The slide on the big screen.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay, guys. So this is the moral of tonight. Targeting equals clarity, and that means a lot of things. So here's where I'm going with this. Oh, and actually, hold on, just getting a message from the tech guys. Mike, reload the broadcaster window. Oh my gosh, Brandon, that's a big step. Oh, all right, hold on.
Oh, can you hear me talk? Can you guys hear me? Oh, hello. Good thing I didn't say anything embarrassing then. Well, thank you for taking the time to hear my story. Hopefully I wasn't talking too fast. I get nervous. When I get nervous, I talk fast. Thank you. Hi, Paula. I saw your bright blue photo. So do you guys have any questions since we're just sitting here? No, I'm not coming to Texas for once. I'm going to be missing out on the first trip. I advertised in Vancouver. That's when it blew up for me. Vancouver blew up for me when I did it locally. My dog's name is Basil. Where is she? Basil? Oh, she's not here, or else I would show you. I just spent no more than $20 per day, but mind you, I did do it back in the day, but still, I feel like once you find that right target, it will be okay. And how long did it take me to get from 2A to 3A? I hit 3A in March. So actually it took me a year to get to 3A, I think. Yeah, we'd have come a long way. I think I was 3A in Mexico. I was 3A in Mexico, and because I went to a lot of outings and you know, saw a lot of people and met everyone who had success stories and stuff, just shared what they did, and that really inspired me. After when I went to Mexico, I really told myself that I was gonna take it more serious. I started the business in August 2016, but I actually didn't start working and training until a few months later because it took a very long time. And how do you find out your story to tell people? Oh, shoot. What was that? You want to see the view? Oh, I'm in my office, but this is my office view. Can you see it? That's all. My beach view is in the front, Amy. Sorry, it's going so fast I can't read all of it. Did you come? Yeah, I came in with a K8 trifecta, so 2A. No, I didn't spend that much ad budget because I didn't have a running ad from my 5A to 6A and 6A to 6A2. I don't know where Mike and Darren is. I guess they want to leave me to do this all. Where is this? Sorry, it's scrolling so fast. I did do conversion ad and lead gen. I find conversion worked better for me. I'm on floor 21 if you're talking about my home. Oh, there's Darren. Hi, Darren. Yeah, where is Mike and Darren? My content in my story ad, it was simple. It was a 1-minute video talking about, at that time, I had no success or anything. So I just talked about how I wanted to quit my family business, work in coffee shops, part of an online community. And yeah, I wanted to give back to my immigrant parents. That was my whole, I just told the truth of what I wanted to do, what I was doing, and what I wanted to accomplish. Helena, will have more foodie adventures to come. I just recently put out an engagement ad, and I do have something with needles, but I think I'm gonna start. Yeah, there's a huge difference with starting with a Sigma and K8 trifecta. So huge difference. And just in terms of using the product, and everyone does, like a lot of people do copy what you do. So huge difference when you do K8 or Sigma. So what did I do when I had those down moments? I YouTubed a lot of videos where I felt down. I read a lot of books, or I would take a jog outside, something to just refresh my mind. Like if I felt frustrated about the business, take a break, right? You don't want to keep sitting there in frustration. And you always remind yourself, like, why did I do this in the first place? And again, it always boiled back to my parents. And you know, I could see how proud they were, even though I made a few checks here and there. And it just boiled down, like, look at my parents, like, where do I want to end up being 70 years old and, you know, still pinching my money and like having to survive. And I really, really just wanted to give my parents a life where it's like, I'm gonna take you guys out for the day and you don't have to worry about anything, you know? And I wanna do all these things for you and you don't have to worry about anything. So I stayed with my why. Your why has to be really strong. I did a story ad and I did a video ad, but I felt like video ads worked better for me because that's what I liked. I like to see if a person was real and they're just talking in a camera, and it's not about showing anything fancy. It's just talking in a room like this, and what is, you know, you just get your message across and your intentions. So if you don't mind me, oh shoot, sorry, it's going so fast. My son wants to say hi. Hi to Cindy Moore's son. Hi from Cowtown. I can show you guys my winning ad. I still have it on my page till this day if you guys want to see it. So just message me, I'll send you the link, or just go on my page. It's in like January, or I can show you a screenshot of some sort. Did you understand the techie stuff? No, I didn't. I actually didn't understand anything. Like I did understand what we had to do, what we had to create, but I was still kind of confused how it worked. And then when I started being more serious at 3A, 4A, that's when I started to understand everything more. But it is kind of, confusing at first. Oh, there you go. They're back.
Janet, job well done. Just keep doing what you're doing, Janet. We're dealing with some tech stuff here. So we've been listening to you in the background. It's amazing.
We can see the chat and everything. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't even know you guys were there. Did you ever feel refreshed with the training? Did you ever refresh with the training? Yeah, when they started adding new things, I would go over the new things. And just before, if I did have someone new, I would go back to it and look at it. One key for the success is getting over yourself, as Mike would say. Yeah, I finally created a personal profile and I'm doing an engagement ad with that. I went without advertising for a long time. I hit 6A. I didn't have advertising for a year. So I should be at 6A2-3, but yeah, I had a lot of momentum from the team and I became a coach. So I was pretty busy. Does anyone? I use a short text above my ad. It was actually a text that Darren let me copy. And it worked at that time. But I would suggest getting that hypnotic writing book if you guys are trying to look for one-liners as well. I find that was really helpful because you always want your one-liners needs to have a pain and a purpose. People like to see pain, but as long as you have a solution for it, then that's what catches the eye. My page is My Freedom. So MAI and then freedom. When my business manager got shut down, I just kind of had fun with it. I tried to appeal it like 100 times. Took a break, appealed it again, and I still didn't work. And I don't know. I didn't really stress about anything because there was just no point. It's just the business is there and it happened, and then you just kind of get on with it. Yeah, I do understand stacking. I kind of stack too deep, so I made some good and bad mistakes with stacking. So definitely understand stacking. Can you post your winning ad in the dream team? I guess so. Can I post my winning ad in the dream team? Janet, talk about how you see every message that goes to you. What do you mean, how every message that goes to me? How you see every message that goes to you? Oh, so Amy wanted me to talk about how, so anyone that messages me, I just talk to them like they're my own lead because I don't really care if they belong to someone or anyone, because at the end of the day, even if they're part of someone else on the dream team, we're all a family here and we're just helping each other. It's karma. So if you answer all their questions and someone else's lead, it's gonna come back to you in tenfolds. So that's something that's like a minor thing that no one should ever stress about. So keeping your team motivated is checking in on them, creating meetings. With my team, what I did was, because I felt like with my team, we did a WhatsApp group chat at that time, and I felt like it was more personable. So everyone would constantly be chatting on there and talking on there, and we always kept in touch. And then because my team was very local, we did a lot of meetups all the time. And I felt like that kept them motivated. And I always shared my struggles. And yeah, I always shared my struggles. Everything was very transparent, and it's okay to have struggles, but it's also, there's a winning end of it. So what the book is called Hypnotic Writing. I can type it in the chat after. Yeah, hypnotic writing, what Charla said. My current milestone is 6A2. Hypnotic writing, guys. Yeah, there we go. Barb just said it. Becky Sue. The secret is to eat slow and just enjoy the meal. So you're not scarfing like a big meal in one sitting. I think that's the secret. My worst experience in the business. I feel like my worst experience in the business is people taking sales from people actually, and not knowing it. Like poachers, I don't get why people have to do that. I see no value, no purpose, because there's no integrity in that. And when you run a business without integrity, it won't move that far. Everything always comes around back to you. So what do you do was the cause of the fact that I took you it took me a year to get to 3A, just because I don't know, I was doubting the system. I was doubting myself. I'm like, will this actually work? I'm like, I actually have to talk to people. So it took me a year, and I wouldn't take action quickly. Like I said, I would get comments on my ad and I would take a few days to reply. Like I was scared to have a buyer, and that's why it took me a long time. I feel like you should target anywhere that you want, because our whole team, we have people in Canada having super success, in London, UK, Australia. I feel like target anywhere that you're comfortable with the time zone, because if you know that they're going to be sleeping while you're working and there's no form of communication, then don't target it. If you're a night owl, for sure, target anywhere where you're going to be awake, knowing that it's daytime, and you're going to be able to coach them and be in communication with them. Hi, Leanne.
Sorry, I've been frozen. I don't know if you could see me or hear me, so I put myself on mute, and I've been frozen this whole time. Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you now. I didn't see you earlier.
I know. You couldn't see me. I turned my camera off because I was just frozen. I said I should let myself freeze.
Well, hello.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Is there anything you want to share?
Well, well, I will say this on Janet's behalf. Can everybody hear me? Because I know we had some mute issues last night. Everybody hear me okay? Okay. Janet has done a whole lot of work on her insides. And I know she's kind of touched on that, obviously, and shared some of that with you guys. But I personally believe that that was one of her biggest turning points when she did do that moment of time. And I won't go into all the details because it is, Jade and I kind of touched base on that. And I think that was her turning point, where it brought her down to what I always call her authentic, real, wise self, and helped remove her limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Because I know that gets in my way. And I'm being real as get. And I know that gets in my way. And sometimes I also believe that we have limiting beliefs that we don't realize we have until some event or something occurs in our life to we realize it's kind of like a wake-up call, and we go, aha, it's an aha moment that, you know what, this is what I've been believing about myself. Or like you said just now, Janet, you didn't think for the first year, it took you a year to get to 3A because you didn't believe in yourself or the system or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people, either they quit, they give up, or they give up on themselves prior to that. And I think that's really, really, really crucial to remember, not to give up on yourself, because even though I've been doing this 3.5 years, I have a lot to learn and have a lot to learn about myself and my own limiting beliefs. And I think that's critical. Had I given up year 1, let's say, or year 2 or 3 or whatever, I would never have been able to go through these experiences that got me to the point to where I was so humbled that it opened my eyes to what had or would be holding me back from being the true authentic self. And I know that's really, really, really deep, but that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah. And I think this business gives you that opportunity to find that, or at least face it, right? And it's either you step out of it or you just go with it. We can't hear you, Mike, if you're talking.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So we're going to patch this together. I love what you guys have been sharing, because this is basically what I wanted to talk about tonight anyway. But Brandon says on his side, on the tech side, they can center my screen for me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slides. We're going to try to make this work. All right. So
Can they hear me while you're doing that?
I think so. Can you still hear us, guys?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, good. Okay.
There's one thing I saw in the chat roll that people were asking Janet for her winning ad. Remember, she was shut down. So why would you want to copy or even do a similar ad to somebody's ad who had everything shut down from that ad? Keep that in mind.
Oh.
Like when you're thinking about people's ads. So, and just because it worked for Janet doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I gave that out to lots of people. Janet wasn't the only one I gave that ad to. And for FYI, it's on the training site in the ads.
Yeah.
Anyway, a similar one that's not blocked. But, and it didn't work for every single person. It worked well for Janet, but it didn't work for all the people that they gave it to, because again, different strokes for different folks, different people click on different ads for whatever reason, right? So
that's it. Okay, guys. So let's get back onto targeting. So first of all, what do we have here? What is this thing that we're actually marketing? So let's talk about this a little bit first. Leanna and I talk about this every week, hitting people in the pain points. So what are people's pain points that you're marketing towards? Lack of time, lack of money, lack of experience with business, with the online space. What we developed here were all of the sales tools, the marketing training, the mentorship, the products for people to be able to get successful online. The presentation, the pitch, is the free webinar. It's not up to you to do it. It's the free webinar. And the pitch, I guess you could also say, are the entry-level points that you've created with your own videos and the team testimonials and all the rest of it. That's what gets them to the webinar. But the actual sales pitch is the webinar itself. Now, the testimonials that are done on the webinar, I can't begin to describe how important those are. Those buyers really roll in when the testimonials come in, because people can see that there's real people involved in the business. And I'm going to come back to that concept of real person again and again, because that's critical. There's also the testimonials on your thank you page, as well as on the buy now page, as well as on the team page, as well as in the Facebook group. There's a reason why we have so many testimonials. The more real people we can put in front of people, the better, right? And the launch is, of course, your ads, driving traffic to your website, driving traffic to that webinar, to our solution at the end of the day, so people can ultimately decide for themselves, because this really is an automated business. So here's the truth of targeting, guys. Targeting is more than just ticking off some options in Facebook. Targeting is actually consciously putting out what you want to bring in. We were talking about this a little bit on the way to the gym today. So let me clarify. What are you putting out there? Ask yourself right now, when you do your go lives, or you do your posts, or you do your pictures, what are you putting out there? Is it uncertainty? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it rage? Or is it actually gratitude, certainty, decisiveness, clarity? Look at your stuff and compare it to other people, and really be completely truthful with yourself, because if there's a gray area, it's going to impact your effectiveness of your ads. So let's talk about, who should you really be targeting? Everybody always wants to know, who should you target, and if you want to be successful in this business? Well, I just said it, guys. People who are looking for more time, more money. Those are the pain points that you're hitting, right? Yeah. So people you can work with ultimately at the end of the day is really who you want to target, because at the end of the day, remember, we're not selling product, we're signing up new distributors. So we're looking for people who are hungry, who are, guys, somebody's talking in the background I can hear, so maybe just hit the mute button, okay? So make sure you're coachable. Your people are coachable and hungry.
Leanne, can you mute?
Okay.
Leanne, can you hit the mute button on your side? Leanne, can you hit the mute button on your side, please? Thank you.
It is a mute.
All right, guys. So make sure your people are coachable and hungry, and look for people who are going to take ownership. You're never going to have success in this business if you're obsessed with a victim mindset. Janet could have gotten really upset with herself that it took 2 years longer than she planned on to hit 6A. Did she? No. She kept owning her business. And in fact, she looked for new ways to own her business. And what that looked like for her was actually running a successful team. So her ads weren't working well. What did she do? She ran a successful team that brought in sales of their own. And you're ultimately looking for people who are answer seekers. It's not enough just to look at the training and say, I don't get it, and throw up your arms. You're looking for people who will actually seek answers in different words and different language so that they actually understand it and can put it into place. And of course, at the end of the day, you're looking for people that you have something in common with, so you can build a rapport with, build a relationship with. Team Kumbaya, the name says it all. These are people who love to work together, who love to share ideas and mastermind together, and love to work and strategize together. That's critical. So at the end of the day, what are you really selling your leads? Absolutely nothing. Yes, it is actually that easy. And I see this on a daily basis. I tell people on a daily basis, please don't overcomplicate this. You're really just a gateway. Somebody said this the other day on the Mastermind, when the European Mastermind that they just had, which was, by the way, absolutely excellent. If you're in Europe and you didn't see that Mastermind, go watch the replay. But somebody put it really well. We're all just the gateway to a system that's being used by thousands of people globally to change their circumstances. It's that simple. You hold the power because you are the gateway. I don't care how many how many questions your leads are throwing at you. You got to keep that in the top of your mind, guys. You're the gateway. Yeah,
and keep it simple. Like Kelly asked me in the chat room, what do you say when you follow up with old leads? And I said, hey, did you get a chance to watch our webinar? It's as simple as that, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this whole long, you're writing them a novel, War and Peace, you know.
And if it's somebody that you were talking to before and you know that they were working and that they weren't happy and they just didn't take action for whatever reason, just say, hey, I just wanted to check in and just see if, life has kind of gotten a little bit better for you. Just try to keep it human, I think. And somebody was asking Darren again about market saturation again today. And I always chuckle every time I hear anybody talk about market saturation. And it came up on one of my coaching calls again today, because it is absolutely ridiculous. Here's the situation that we live in today. Jobs are being lost because markets are changing. Customers are looking for cheaper product to be express delivered faster. Employees are working more. Yeah, I didn't type that. So that's the heading on this table. But employees are working more and they're getting more tired. I mean, if you've seen any news recently about Amazon and the work conditions that those employees have to suffer through and the quotas that they have to fill, it is absolutely staggering. I mean, it is borderline sweatshops kind of material. So the situation for workers and employees ain't getting any better, which means we don't have to worry about market saturation. Why? Because what we're offering here is a system that allows people to work for themselves and to gain control back in their own hands of their own future. It's that simple, folks. There is no market saturation. For all of those people who want to work online, we've got all of the sales tools, all of the marketing training, and even the products that they can plug into to get set up with a successful online business. I say it with such certainty and such clarity because at the end of the day, I've seen it work for so many people. And so have you. At the end of the day, even if you're brand new into this business, there's no reason in the world why you should have any less clarity about this, because you see it happening. I just announced 2 new Dash 2s, 2 new Dash 3s, and a new Dash 4 tonight. Do you know how long it takes people to get to those milestones in the offline world? In some cases, decades.
A lifetime.
In some cases, a lifetime. Yeah. People here are doing it in a matter of years. So how do you attract these people? Well, at the end of the day, you've got to be real. You've got to be authentic. People need to know that you are a real person with a real business getting real results. Are they huge results? Are they little results? Well, at the end of the day, that's only for you to decide. A lot of people here are happy making an extra $500 a month because that's the difference between having groceries and not. But a lot of people are looking for $5,000 a month because it means that one of them can get out of their job, or they don't have to worry about the mortgage anymore, or they can put their kids through hockey now. And then, of course, there's other people who want bigger results. But at the end of the day, it's all about whether or not you're satisfied with your own results. I mean, guys, please know this. Everybody knows that perfect is impossible, but yet everybody, including myself, gets so frustrated when things aren't perfect. The Virgo in me just won't die. It drives me crazy. I get so caught up in stupid little things that are out of place and are just not quite perfect, and I'll fiddle around trying to make them perfect, and then I catch myself and I'm like, stop that, that's ridiculous. And you got to catch yourself doing this because everybody knows the same thing. There is no perfect. And when you try to be too perfect, people get suspicious. And that's why the videos are so much more successful when they're not completely professionally done, when they don't look like they've been clipped together by a pro, when it doesn't look like the next blockbuster video. When you're shooting a video on your phone from your own home, it's real, it's authentic. When you're shooting it as a go live in a place that's inspired you and you just want to take a couple minutes to share it with your followers, it's authentic. That's the critical part about this. Now, the other thing I want all of you to remember, and we don't talk about this enough, I think, especially for the new people, is you've got to remember, guys, it's a tough world out there. And when you're working online, you're going to get attacked by people with keyboard courage. People will say things to you online that they would never have the audacity to say to you in person. So keep in mind the things that you have control of and the things that you don't. You have absolutely no control over what other people are thinking, what other people are saying, what they're doing, how they're behaving, or what they're feeling. But I guarantee you this, what you do have control of are your thoughts, your words, your actions, your behavior, your feelings. So start to look inward and what you're putting out there, how you're expressing yourself, how you're presenting yourself, and how you're speaking. Those are things that you have control over. Those are things that will dictate the quality of traffic that you're bringing in. And at the end of the day, I want you to remember this. An unhealed person, somebody who's scarred, somebody who's dealing with something, will always find offense in pretty much anything that somebody else does. It's easy to find fault in others in order to avoid dealing with the faults that you have.
And also, you know your ads are doing well if you start getting haters.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what? In the words of Madonna, any publicity is good publicity. And you know why that's true for your ad? Because Facebook doesn't look at a comment as good or bad. They just look at it as a comment. So it's engagement, which means they see people engaging on your ad and they're like, oh, I'm going to show this ad to more people. So even if you just hide the comment or delete it, it still has actually been a good thing for your ad.
Good old Madonna. She was a woman ahead of her time.
She really was.
So at the end of the day, guys, online marketing is this. It's all about testing and putting yourself out there. We know that, right? But why do we stop? Why do you stop testing? Why haven't you tested every kind of ad under the sun to see if it'll work better than what you're doing? Why aren't you looking for ways to put yourself out there in new, more uncomfortable ways? The more uncomfortable it is, the better. You know, we all go through this kind of journey. I won't do it. I can't do it. I want to do it, but how do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can't actually do it. I will do it. And you know what? People like Janet can now say, yes, I did it. Now, did they start at the same step that everybody else did? 1,000%. So here's the question for you guys. At the end of the day, what step did you reach? Where are you at? Look yourself in the mirror before you go to bed and ask yourself this. Did you stop at any one of these steps? And why did you stop? Recognize why you stopped. There might be a perfectly valid reason for that, but ask yourself this. Are you going to try to hit the next step tomorrow? Because if you don't, you're never going to get to the top. That's the simple reality, right? So it's all about taking these moments and pausing and thinking about what you're putting out there and what you're doing about it. Oh, and by the way, know this, failure is absolutely an option, at least in the short term. Every single one of us has screwed up and failed in this business and will again, and probably will again after that. But the difference is, if you're taking one step back, are you taking 2 steps forward or not? Not to say you have to do it at the same time, but if you don't, well, guess what? You're moving backwards. Nobody moves backwards and succeeds. So think of it this way, guys. Failure is your opportunity to look at what's not working and figure out how to make it work. So if you're targeting something and it's not getting traction, ask yourself, is it actually the people you're targeting? Is it the message you've crafted? Is it the demographic you focused on? What is it? Is it the image? This is why we always say track everything. And if you don't have to write it down, great. You got a really sharp mind. I've never seen Darren track a single ad on paper in his life, but I could probably ask him the details of the last 10,000 ads he's ran, and he could tell me exactly how they all compared. And that's all you need to be clear on.
As long as it's somewhere, whether it's written down in a Word document or in your head, just keep track of it.
Yeah. And also this, don't be afraid to start over again. If you get your ad account shut down, who cares? If you get your entire Facebook profile shut down, who cares? It's free to start new ones. Go start a new one. And if things go completely sideways, reset all of your devices back to factory original state and go create a new profile. Is it a pain in the butt? Absolutely. Is it what you signed up for as an online marketer? 1000%. If you want to be successful in this business, you do not give Facebook the authority to shut down your business. Facebook is just a tool, and you don't ever forget that. You are the business owner. So next time you're starting from scratch, know this. You're starting from experience. If you've got two brain cells to rub together, hopefully you've learned from your mistakes and you don't do it again. So now let's talk about some tangibles. The message of colors. I don't think we've ever actually talked about colors in advertising on a mastermind, so I want to kind of throw this at you guys so you can start to kind of consider things that you're putting into your ads. I love talking about colors in marketing, and this is fun stuff. So here's some research on how North Americans tend to process colors when they see advertising.
You know why buy is probably red? Because it says sale. Right? Like
absolutely. It creates a sense of urgency. It makes you buy now. It's a call to action, right? Yellow, optimistic and youthful. Has anybody followed Irene Remley lately? And every single thing that woman owns is yellow. Guess what? She's probably one of the most optimistic, ray of sunshine, youthful, exuberant personality that you will ever possibly meet. She actually literally giggles. I love that.
I got a new name for you, Irene. Your new name is Sunreen.
That's perfect. Yes. Energy increases your heart rate. You know why? Because it gives you a sense of urgency. It gives you a call to action. Blue creates a sensational sense of trust and security. There's a reason why the Dream Team logo that we have right now is blue. Green associates with wealth, easy color to process on the eyes. Also, by the way, my favorite color for whatever it's worth. Orange creates a sense of aggression. It also creates a call to action. Why? Because it's a tint of red. Pink, romantic, feminine, used to market products to women and young girls. Is that stereotypical? Yes. Is that what marketing and advertising is all about? You betcha.
Erin's built a whole business around it.
Yes.
Pink girl.
Another girl who has owned a brand. And you know what? It works, right? Black. Black is sleek and sexy and powerful. Scares the heck out of people. Be careful with black. It can be ominous. It can be too powerful. But it can also be a sense of authority. So be careful. Purple, used to soothe and calm. So many important shades of purple that can be really unique and different. If you're going to do purple, play around with it. Generally speaking, speaks to anti-aging products only because of how it's been used so far. But check out this slide. You're familiar with a lot of these logos, guys. You've probably never really considered the colors of them. So now what we've just discussed, check out where these guys fall. There's literally billions of dollars worth of research that has been done into this kind of thing.
I don't see turquoise on that list.
That because you, my love, are in a class of your own. All right, moving on. Research your best buyers on Facebook and look for patterns. What the heck does that mean? Well, check their About Us on Facebook to see places that they've checked in, what type of music they're interested in, TV shows, books, etc. And then you can even see all of the specific things on Facebook they've liked and the events they've attended. Here, check this out, guys. I'm going to show you one of our recent buyers that we had. And Vivian, if you ever watch this replay someday, thank you for providing your profile for all of us to look at. So
Vivian,
we
made
went
it into the training.
Yes, we went into Vivian's profile. We went straight to her
She has
about
booked her
us.
call, so she probably will see this one day.
Yeah, there you go. So look at this. Vivian is into MLMs. She went to McGill University. She lives in Montreal. She's in a relationship. Hopefully it's stable. I want the best for Vivian. Here's the friends, but let's go down here. Let's see where she's checked in. Interesting. So I'm getting a buyer. If Vivian bought a trifecta, I might be interested in further targeting Quebec.
Tim Hortons. You can see what kind of music she likes.
Apparently she likes Winnie the Pooh.
And you can open that up. See, you see how it says see all, and you
yeah.
can see a whole history. But I mean,
Mount Royal, Thunder Bay. So she's been to Canmore. Canmore's beautiful. Let's see. Music. Music is loading still. This is a little slow. Movies. What kind of movies does she follow? She's a Disney fan. All right. Oh my gosh. She has
There's a
terrible
target.
taste in TV, though.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna watch this one day. Don't tell her. Oh my
That's
god.
right. I grew up with it.
Just
too.
kidding, Vivian. We love you.
Now, this is interesting. Not just anybody is reading Dale Carnegie. Here's a person who's obviously
Self-development.
interested in self-development entrepreneurship.
Welcome to the dream team.
Welcome
Viv.
to the Viv. You are in the right place, girl. Look at what she's following. Interesting, right?
Lots of animal stuff. So you can actually look at the pages. Look how many pages she's like. 244 pages. And
She's got good taste in
those
cars.
will give you an idea of, oh, look, she's liked our page.
She
That
likes
will give
handsome
you
men.
a idea of things to target, right? Those are all targets. Canadian Tire is a target. Phil Collins is a target. Dogs are a target. Oh, look, she's been like Denagic. So she's come across something like this before, I'm guessing.
She likes the same books Leanne does. Let's keep going on here. What else? Scrolling. Oh my gosh, there's hundreds, obviously.
Fitness, I saw all kinds
There's
of stuff
events
in
you
there.
can also look at. What is she doing? Who's she hanging out with? What does she do, right?
So you can find out a lot about your buyers by just looking at their profile after they've added you as a friend. And that's where the best place to get targeting ideas, because that person is actually bought.
Yeah.
Bought in.
Now, notice what we said. Research your best buyers. So am I suggesting that you stalk every single person who buys a new Conditi? Probably not. But if you're starting to see patterns amongst people who are buying K trifectas, you might be onto something, guys.
Yeah. And do they have to be your own buyer if you're new, or if you haven't had a lot of buyers yet? No. You probably made friends in the dream team, right? With other people.
Yeah.
Go stalk who you want to stalk, right?
Yeah.
Go look at what the type of person you want as a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
You guys can hear me as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So I've done this exact technique before, and let's say they're not in my downline, but let's say they are somebody that's successful in the dream team. I've done the exact same technique, and if that, just like you said, if that person looks like somebody that you are attempting to attract, let's just say, or connect with, or that kind of thing, it doesn't have to be in your downline. It can be anywhere in the dream team. And it doesn't have to be every single thing that they've liked in every book and every, music and every show and everything. But this is a perfect example of a K8 trifecta, in my opinion. I look at this and I say K8 trifecta.
Let's hope so. We'll see.
But I mean, you understand there's a very big difference between this profile
Yes.
and a different one. I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
You know.
It is true.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. Age. We say this all the time. Target your age plus or minus 10 years. Why? Because you want to make sure that you have things in common with people, that you express yourself in the same kind of ways, that you have kind of the same kind of things to talk about. If you grew up with generally the same kind of stuff, you got some stuff that you can hash over, right?
Sonia, we already talked to you about that when we saw you in Calgary.
What did she ask?
You have to start, if you're only 26.
Well,
for
obviously
example,
you're going up 10 and not
you
down
don't-
10.
Yeah, you don't go down to 16.
But you could go down 8. Oh my gosh, don't be
Yeah.
so literal.
Love you, Sonia.
Love you, Sonia. Now, here's another thing, guys. Please choose your words carefully. Everything in sales is always about benefits, value, and emotions, and about the person you're talking to. You know, when you buy a brand new, gosh, let's say a television. Do you ever see any TV ad where they put a TV on the screen, they show you the measurements, they show you the features, they show you the power supply, they show you the color gamut and all the rest of it? Never, right? What do you always have? You have a family sitting in front of the TV, eating popcorn, sharing an experience like watching the Super Bowl, sharing an experience like watching a really great movie. Why? Because you're hitting people in the heart, in their value set, talking about the benefit of spending time together. You're trying to get them to imagine being in a specific place thanks to buying in with your product, right? So be mindful of how you are expressing the value of this business and how it can help people. Now, I hope you're noticing the words I'm using. That's very intentional. Okay. If I'm speaking directly to those of you that are a 2A and you want to benefit in this business, I'm going to say, look, I want you to shoot for the stars because I want you to have everything that you and your family deserve. I want you to be able to go on those vacations you've always dreamed of. And I want you to have the security of owning your family home mortgage free so that you can look to your weekends and actually enjoy them. Forget the weekends, actually spend your weekdays with your kids when you walk them to school and pick them up after school. And I want you to enjoy those moments that you would lose if you had to work for somebody else. That's what this business is all about. Now, as I'm saying that, I hope you're starting to picture you doing that. And you see people doing that already in the community, so it should be easy for you to imagine that. Now, how do we do that? Well, we can help you do that. You're all in a coaching group. You've all got a direct mentor. You've all got these masterminds accessible to you. You've all got the book club accessible to you. That's how we help. Also, notice that word, help. That's how we help you. Right? These are key words, right? So I'm trying to give you some examples here to help you think about how you can start phrasing this kind of thing for your leads and in your own ads. And believe me, guys, if you can start expressing yourself in this way in your videos, people will resonate with your message. It's that easy. There's a lot of really powerful words, empowering words, positive words that you should start to think about that hit people not only in their pain points, but also make them start to drift off and daydream about what life they could have. So I'm going to share all of these slides afterwards. You can start to go through some of these things and start to try to consciously use some of these words and start to think about how you can start to embed them into your marketing. This is how you inspire people and how you motivate people. And most importantly, also how you position yourself as an authority that they recognize as someone who can help them. That's very important. Okay. So here's a little exercise. I used to do this with my coaching clients, and this is just a really fast, easy little exercise. If you've got a pen and a piece of paper nearby, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen right now. It can be a pencil, it can be a pen, I don't care. Just a simple blank piece of paper. Go grab it now. I'll give you a few seconds, and then we're going to do a little exercise. This isn't going to take long, but I think you're going to enjoy this because I've always had really good feedback on this. People seem to really just enjoy the immediate clarity that they get from this. So grab the paper, grab the pen, and let's get into
a Word
this.
document, or does it have to be
No, it's probably better. Well, depending on how fast you type, you can do a Word document. It doesn't matter. There's something to be said, though, for about writing things down. When you write it down, it's actually it's more impactful. It's more powerful. There's a reason why people journal still on pad and paper. If you can grab it now, just do it. All right. So here's what we're going to do now, guys. Here's the exercise. Take a look at these words. I am going to give you 45 seconds to read the words on this page.
Quality, fun, family, honesty, diversity, education, development,
Not necessarily out loud.
Oh.
Look over there. See through the trees.
All right. And now what I want you to do is I am going to give you 60 seconds to write the 12 words on your piece of paper that have the biggest impact for you. Write them down now. Your top 12 words. Doesn't matter what they are. What are the 12 words that stand out most to you?
Is exhausted on that list? How about tired? Some people are saying they still only see Janet.
Brandon, I don't think we're centered anymore. So Brandon, if you're listening, you need to center the screen, I think.
But is it for everyone?
I'm not sure, you know. Doesn't seem to be. Okay, guys, stop. Now here's your next thing. I'm going to give you 45 seconds to cross out 4 of those 12 words. So look at the 12 words that you wrote down, cross out the 4 that mean the least to you. So I want you to keep the top 8, cross out 4.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it is centered. So I think it's just different for different people.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it depends what you're watching this on too, you guys. If you're on a phone or an iPad or a computer, like everything's different.
Every browser is different.
Oh my God, look at the sunset now. Maybe I should get a picture. That's just so crazy. Ooh, a little bit puppy.
All right, and stop. Now, here's the next step, guys. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to cross out 3 more. Scratch them off. What are the 3 that mean the least to you out of those last words?
The least or the most?
The least. The ones you're scratching off are the ones that mean the least to you. Three, 2, 1, stop. Okay, so hopefully at this point now you guys have 5 words remaining on your paper. What the heck are these 5 words? These 5 words represent 5 things that pass into your core value set. So look at the words. How do they resonate with you? They must be pretty powerful because you chose these 5 words out of all of this list now. So if you have words on there like spiritual, you might be a very spiritual person. That might be a key part of your identity, but also money might be a driving factor for you. Or maybe perhaps it's maintaining balance. Maybe you got into this business because you wanted to maintain a healthy balance, spiritual as well as personal and work life and all the rest of it. It doesn't matter what the words are because at the end of the day, they're your words. But here's why this is important, because pain points reside in the heart, and pain points are what we're all marketing to, right? So when you're running your ads, you need to speak from your heart in your ads, in your videos, in your posts. These 5 core values that you've just identified, start to think about how you can roll these into your story and into your pitch and into your go lives. Because if you're speaking about how important these are, and if you can relate these to your business, then I guarantee you're speaking from the heart. And there's other people out there that will feel just as passionately about it as you do. That's the thing. In business, the one thing that I have always seen across the board without fail is all business owners make the same common mistake. They try to be all things to all people because they make the really dangerous assumption that if they specialize, then they're going to turn people off. And you know what? Here's the thing. When you specialize and you are really good in a certain niche, even people who don't resonate with that niche, they will respect you because of your expertise. And they will work with you because they think that if you're an expert in that area, you might still be able to help them in this area. You must find this clarity and you must focus on it. That's how you target. That's how you put out what you really want to get back in. All right. So look within, guys. Are there seeds of doubt? And if so, what's causing those doubts? What are those connected to? They might be connected to past issues that you've already dealt with, and you're still just in the habit of giving them power. And if that's the case, consciously let them go. And if you're still having seeds of doubt that are maybe connected to things that you haven't actually dealt with on an emotional level, well, give them some attention. Spend some time with that and ask yourself just how important they really are. But know this, guys, great success is quite often preceded by failure. The biggest breakthroughs typically come from when you're feeling the most frustrated and the most stuck. It's this frustration that forces you to think differently, to look outside of the box and to see the solution that you've been missing. If it's too easy, then you get sloppy and you get lazy. Success takes patience, and it takes an ability to maintain a good attitude, even while suffering for what you believe in. If it was easy to be an online entrepreneur, everybody would do it. But think of this. We have 10,000 people almost in the Dream Team Flock group. We have 30,000 in the group on Facebook.
33 almost.
33. That means only a third of you had what it takes to actually get into this business so far. Good for you guys. You got to this step. Give yourself a pat on the back. And then this is also very important. Being busy does not equal being productive. And I talk about this all the time. People will fiddle and fiddle and fiddle with things that mean nothing for your business. Success does not come from movement and activity. It comes from focus. Focus on your ads. Don't focus on all the other crap that is a distraction. And you know why people fiddle? Because there's comfort in it. People fiddle with things that they think they're good at and that they like. So, prime example. I've got some people that have probably submitted 10 logo designs to me for the logo competition. Well, I hope you're putting that much effort into making sure that your ads are just as eye-catching, because if you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to get the same number of hours in the day you need to realize that you have the same number of hours in the day as everybody else. Those are your hours, nobody else's. Use them wisely, because at the end of the day, guys, you are the product of your output, not your effort.
Yeah. You think you have nothing to leverage? Well, guess what, everybody? The sun sets for all of us.
1,000%.
My whole page is sunset pictures. I just took another one now.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
Like, it looks like lava outside.
And a lot of people will look at a sunset and they will say, yeah, the sun's setting. I guess it's going to be dark soon. Or a lot of people will look at it and they'll be like, my God, Mother Nature is showing off for us right now. Isn't that spectacular?
Can I share something really quick?
Yeah.
I think this would be a good timing. Today, the dog and I, we were out and about and we were taking some pictures and videos and so forth. And I was losing everything. I was losing my phone. I was losing my earbud. I was losing, you know that. I lost everything, but I lost my sunglasses. And I knew Darren would be proud. And I lost those pair of sunglasses in the flowers. And you know what came to my mind was, I needed to lose those sunglasses so I could put on a new pair of glasses and see things differently in this life.
Ah, yes. Yeah. See, perspective is everything, guys. It really is.
No more aviators and hello, rose-colored.
Oh my gosh. Neither of us are allowed to have aviators anymore.
I have two more pair.
This ain't the 80s sitcom Chips.
I might have a couple stashed away too, I'll be honest. Now, here's another one, guys. You're only as good as those you associate with. And we've all gone to the great deal of trouble of plugging into this community. And thank goodness for this community, because some of the people here are some of the most positive, optimistic, beautiful people I have ever had the pleasure and honor of meeting in my life. Thank goodness for that. But we've all gone to the effort of doing that, but we still allow these energy vampires in our physical world to drag us down. And I always, that's a prime example. It drives me crazy when we sit here and we talk about gas. Gas is completely irrelevant in this world. We have moved thousands of years beyond gas because we have a whole different moral and value set than they do. We're in a different business. We're in a people business. They sell distributor positions. We create successful distributors, successful business owners. Leaders. So if you've gone to all of the trouble of plugging yourself into a community in a system like this, then ask yourself the next time you're presented by somebody in the physical space that you know is giving you anxiety to such a level that you're getting knots in your stomach, ask yourself why you're letting them do that to you, because you're consciously trying to shift out of that. And by allowing them to do that to you at that space in that moment, you're working backwards. Guys, you're living the life you've created. You got to take ownership for it. If you're feeling stuck, it's probably because, simply put, you're afraid to take the risks necessary to achieve your goals and live your dreams. We all feel stuck. And it's sometimes just because we're too damn afraid to do what's next. We know what we have to do, but we don't do it. Why don't we? Because we're afraid that somehow the sky is going to fall. So when it's time to take action, remember that it's always better to be at the bottom of the ladder you actually want to climb than to be at the top of the one you don't. And those of you who come from those jobs that you hated, that you finally left, but you had to wait until you were making enough money to do so, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that were making $100,000, breaking your back and feeling aches and pains every single day of your life, working in the trucking industry, working in the oil patch, and you were exhausted and physically breaking down, you know what I'm talking about, because now you started at the bottom of this ladder and you've worked your way up. Paul McLean, I'll give that man credit because he fired himself, got out of a perfectly successful job that he built a really powerful company with, making a lot of really good money. He was at the top of his game. He quit, sold the truck, sold the shop, and started this business from scratch. And look at where they're at now. Now he lives with his gorgeous wife. They spend their days together. They watch ridiculous soap operas together. Their taste in TV is atrocious.
What?
But they actually spend their days together. And for them, that was what it was all about. And it was never have been possible if they didn't actually start at the bottom of the ladder that they picked. That's the difference. And we got to all remember, guys, fear is the number one source of regret. When it's all said and done, none of us are getting out of here alive, as Karen says. You will lament the chances you didn't take far more than you will your failures. I can promise you that. So don't be afraid to take risks. What's the worst that can happen? You end up with egg on your face? Yes. When you're on your deathbed, though, can you say, at least I tried? Yes. The worst thing that can happen to you is allowing yourself to die inside while you're still alive. And I see this happen with so many people. It breaks my heart because they think that they have to settle. Nobody has to settle for anything. All you got to do is actually believe in yourself. And I get it. Sometimes you can't believe in yourself, but that's why you need people who can believe in yourself for you until you can yourself. That's the beauty of a community like this. You don't have to wait for an apology to forgive. And I know there's a lot of people that are letting people hold them back. And I've learned this lesson the hard way, guys. Grudges let negative events from your past ruin today's happiness. They take over your reality. Hate and anger are nothing but emotional parasites. They destroy your joy in life so that you can't live a life in gratitude. This whole business, I hope you understand, is all about gratitude. That's why we drill this into you so much and so often on a repetitive basis. You must find that place of gratitude. And if you can forgive somebody, it's not a question of condoning what they've done to you. It just simply means you're letting go of what they've done so that you can move on. You're not giving them any power. You're just letting go of the power that they're holding over you by not forgiving. You got to live in the moment. Boy, oh boy, this is important, guys. We lost somebody really, really amazing in the community this week, and it hurt a lot of people. And there's a family that's really wounded in the community this week. On top of that, I also I lost somebody this week from my childhood. And we shouldn't have to wait until these moments hit us in life where we suddenly realize that life is short to understand just how important it is to live in the present. Every single one of us got into this for our own reasons. And when you get really busy, it's really easy to forget what those reasons were. You can't. You have to hold on to those guys. You've got to help yourself live in the moment. And here's two things that can help you. Accept the past. If you don't make peace with your past, you will absolutely never leave it. And if you can't leave your past, you'll never be able to create a really solid future. You've also got to accept the uncertainty of the future. Worry has got no place in the here and now. Mark Twain actually had a really great quote that I put down here. Worrying is like paying a debt that you don't owe. We worry about the stupidest shit. that has absolutely no importance in life, but we will let it monopolize our thoughts to an extent that is absolutely ridiculous. And what does it do? It holds us back, and it holds us in a space of negativity that isn't going to allow us to ever build or ever move forward. We have to consciously recognize that and nip it in the bud. You have to. Otherwise, it holds control over you. And at the end of the day, you got to understand your self-worth has got to come from within. You cannot worry about what other people are thinking. When your sense of pleasure and satisfaction are completely derived from comparing yourself to others, you have absolutely no control over your own destiny. When you feel good about something that you've done, you should never allow anybody else's opinions or accomplishments to take it away from you. And this goes out to all of you who still have a skeptical spouse. You have made a monumental step forward by joining this community and this system, because you've done it despite what the most important person in your life told you. You've done it for you. And that took a lot of audacity and a lot of bravery. So you need to own that truth, and you need to move forward in that space. And don't worry about whether or not they're still skeptical or not, because you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for you. If you were doing it for them, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. Let's be honest. So own it and work it and make it successful, guys. Because I'm going to say it again, life is short. Remind yourself every single morning when you wake up that that day is a gift, and you are bound to make the most of the blessing that you've been given. The moment you start acting like life is a blessing is the moment that it will actually start acting like one. And it is that easy. And we got to understand change is inevitable. We have no choice, but we have to embrace it. You need to have an open mind and open your arms up to whatever is possible and whatever is going to happen. Because here's the thing. When things happen, you recognize it, you capitalize on it, and the opportunities create more opportunities. It's like Leanne talks about every single Tuesday and Thursday, leverage. Smart people leverage what's available to them. If things couldn't change, you wouldn't be presented with new opportunities to leverage. And of course, you're bound to fail. And when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping that you can ignore changes and make things just kind of stay steady, I got news for you. It will always fall apart around your feet, because change will always happen. It doesn't matter how much control you think you have in life, change will always happen. You've got to be able to roll with the punches. And a successful online marketer recognizes when things have changed and capitalizes on that change.
And one of my favorite quotes is from Karen McCallum. None of us are getting out of here alive.
Amen to that. So, the reason I put that all in there, guys, is because I wanted more than anything to give you guys some perspective. I think it's so darn important that we remember that we're all
There's usually a delay. Hopefully that's what it is. Yes, it is.
We're all dealing with stuff. We're all human. All of us have doubts. All of us have reservations. All of us are getting called horrible things online. But at the end of the day,
and we've been called it all. Trust me.
Oh my gosh, we've been called it all.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me online. I really don't, because at the end of the day, this business was never about my name online. I don't care if when I die, Google is full of slanderous stuff about Michael Dreyer. What I care about is that I was allowed to spend the best days of my life with this guy here. The only reason I got into this was because of him. For me, that was the driving force. We wanted to spend our days together. At that point, we were working in totally different schedules. We were going in opposite directions. So we made a conscious choice to work together. And that's how I got into the online space. And then eventually we got into this online space.
I wanted the money.
He wanted the money. You know, so, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your driving forces are. Own your driving forces. All I'm saying is don't forget what they were, because that's what got you into here in the first place. That's what will keep you here long enough to become successful.
Yeah. And let me clarify that. You know why I wanted the money, though, most importantly? Not so that we can buy really nice things and all that, which I do. I like nice things. I'm not going to lie. But it's the freedom. It's the freedom that the money buys you. Your time. You buy your time back.
Oh my God.
right? Even though we are really busy running this, but we enjoy it, right? We wouldn't even do that. We could have other leaders step up and do the masterminds if we wanted to. We don't have to do this every Wednesday, but we like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it buys you your time back. That's the most important thing, because that's the only thing that really matters in the end.
My gosh, I almost put something into those slides that was really staggering. I came across a statistic. It was something like, on average, you only get something like 25,000 hours, and the clock is ticking. I don't know if you've ever actually ran the math, but the average lifespan's what, 80, 85 years old, depending on the country you live in. Multiply that by 60 minutes. I got to tell you guys, the clock is ticking now. What are you going to do with those minutes and hours you have left? That's the question. So I hope that gives you some clarity. I think you've got to do this kind of inward thinking. Everybody always says, what are you targeting? What are you targeting? What should I target on Facebook? It's not about targeting. Most of Darren's ads don't even have targets.
Right now, they don't. No targets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. None of them have targets right now.
But if you go to his page right now, what is it all about? It's about freedom. It's about security. It's about enjoying sunsets. It's about spending your days with your loved ones. It's about enjoying time with puppies. All of that is freedom. And when I have our coaching calls with our buyers, I think one of the biggest things that always comes up is freedom. And everybody wants that, right? So it's not about ticking off the boxes in Facebook, because Facebook's just a database, and they've got us all convinced that you got to spend more money if you're ticking off different boxes. At the end of the day, your real power is in your communication. Figure out what got you into this and talk to people about how this business is helping you get that.
Gotta let the dog out. That
is really how you target. That's the real power.
Okay.
We talk about this being attraction marketing, and Leanne always refers to attraction marketing probably about, what would you say, a half a dozen times in an average webinar. But this is how attraction marketing works. You will get back only what you put out. So if you are dwelling on what's not going right in life and how you're scraping by and how you just can't get a break and how you just are not confident enough on camera and how you just can't quite express yourself as well as Leanne, or how you just aren't as beautiful as Becky Sue, or how you just wish you had a little bit better skin tone, or any of that other BS, guess what? You're going to get those same kind of people who are like, do you think I could do this? I don't know if I could do this. Do you think that I should do this? I don't know if I should do this. Oh, there's so many people. I've got a skeptical husband. I got a skeptical mom. I think they're right. Nobody's ever really believed in me. And can you help people like that? Can this community help people like that? Yes, if they're willing to take ownership. Have we lost people who are like that in this community and didn't get results? Yes. You know why? Because they didn't take ownership. When I was a business coach, quite often I would tell people, I can help you, but you got to get to here and I will meet you here. Right now, you're about here. and that's just the thing. There's a lot of personal work that has to happen before you as an outside person can actually help somebody. I don't care what your intentions are. You might have the best intentions in the world. You might be a saint. But if somebody's not willing to come to the table and haven't done their homework, nothing you can do for them. So you need to have people who at least have kind of done that inward thinking, come to the table with a tool set to work with. I blabbered on for a little too long probably, but I hope that gives you guys some perspective about really what the real targeting is that's bringing in buyers around here. Because I want you to think of everything that I've talked about tonight, and I want you to think about the people who I just announced as getting the most buyers. And I want you to think about what they put out there. That's your homework today. And if you're not really too sure, go look at their pages. And if you can't remember who the top buyers were, go play the replay.
Don't copy their ads.
Don't copy their ads. But look at what they're doing. Look at how they express themselves.
You don't want to get in trouble with those people.
Yeah, some of those people will cut you. All right. So I hope that helps, guys. Darren, Leanne, anything else you guys want to say before we hop off?
Just thank you. That was wonderful. I love that mastermind. I'm going to use parts of it maybe in Galveston.
Awesome. Ooh, I love it. Okay, cool.
So next week we'll be here,
Mhm.
but the week after there may not be a mastermind. Just so everyone knows.
Let's just say there won't be a mastermind.
Okay, no,
Let's
you're not gonna
make
have
it completely
somebody
clear.
go
Yeah.
because,
So next week there will be, but the week after there will not be.
because we will be traveling to Texas that week. So
Big things happening. There's a bit of a birthday party going on. You might have heard about. All right. So thank you to everybody who did come on. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to shut this thing down. So Brandon, if you're listening, I think you might have to shut this down. I don't know. I'm going to try now. Thank you to all who did join. We did have
Bye.
850 or something.
850 or so people on here. That is
Thank you,
absolutely
Janet,
amazing.
for sharing your story with us. Love you, Janet.
Janet, I just love the fact it means so much that you were on tonight when we announced that we hit -4. That seems to me like it was full circle. So good night, everybody.
Good night.